Hello there, you're now with me, Hanigui, and welcome to your 5 p.m. English news on TVS. Let's dive into today's topics. As Sarawak strives towards becoming a developed high-income state by 2030, the emphasis is now on environmental sustainability to pave the way for more investment flow into the state. This, Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Abang Johari Tun Openg said, will co-create solutions, open up more green jobs and business opportunities to drive the economy in a sustainable manner.
Sustainable development is always a priority agenda of the state TVS government under my leadership. And we are committed to strike a balance between the need for development and safeguarding the well-being of our people.
The Chief Minister said environmental sustainability is listed as one of the state's main components, with the objectives to prosper Sarawak and its people, whilst simultaneously protecting the environment and staying true to its sustainable development goals. Part of the state's commitment towards the matter is the amendment to the Natural Resources and Environment Ordinance Bill 2019, which enables a more suitable management of natural resources and environmental protection through the Natural Resources and Environment Board, or NREB.
That with this amendment, open burning activities on native customary land NCL for commercial purposes is now regulated to ensure that the implementation of socio-economic transformation projects and the programs in the state are carried out in a sustainable manner. And this revision is necessary for the state to prepare under MA 63 transfer autonomy to accept additional responsibility in managing environmental matters under the current Federal Environment Quality Act 1974.
Additionally, the penalties have been increased to 100,000 ringgit for all environmental offences on land pollution, inland water contamination and open burning.
Meanwhile, Chief Minister Abang Johari said that the COVID-19 pandemic has affected not only human lives but also the environment. He noted that the situation, especially the medical waste, has become a major threat to both public health and the environment.
While the pandemic situation has improved the air quality and reduced GSG, that is greenhouse gas emission, in different cities around the world in 2020, including the lessening of water pollution, there are also negative consequences of COVID-19 towards the environment.
He regarded the use of personal protective equipment, PPE, such as masks and hand gloves, as contributors to the increase in medical waste. Citing Asian Development Bank 2020, he said cities like Manila, Kuala Lumpur, Hanoi and Bangkok produce up to 154 to 280 million tons more medical waste in a day than before the pandemic. Sarawak alone produces up to 628,000 used face masks in a single day.
If these PPEs are not properly disposed of, they will lead to major environmental impact. Wind or rain water may deposit the used PPEs into our streams or rivers, and thus also polluting the rivers with the deadly virus that could possibly reinfect us.
Thus, he urged the public to be mindful of the third wave of the COVID-19 and reminded them of the dangers of indiscriminate disposal of the PPE. Earlier, Abang Johari officiated the 9th Chief Minister's Environmental Award CMEA on Monday morning. The award serves to recognize industries, businesses, local authorities, and individuals that demonstrated their corporate environmental responsibility through their organizational green initiatives in reducing carbon footprints in the production processes and operations.
Now, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah has reminded all parties not to quickly become complacent and satisfied in the efforts to curb COVID-19 in the country. Instead, efforts should be continued to contain the spread of the infection, especially with the emergence of various new variants.
Kerajaan hendaklah terus berusaha untuk menurunkan kes jangkitan harian COVID-19 dan mencapai imuniti kelompok dengan seberapa segera.
In taking cognizance of the fact, the King said a whole-of-society effort strategy should be intensified with effective communication narratives. Al-Sultan Abdullah said the country is now on firm track in combating COVID-19 through the formation of the National Recovery Council (NPN) and the implementation of the National COVID-19 Immunity Program, as well as financial assistance and economic stimulation packages for the people. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong clearly appreciates the government's continuous effort in implementing various strategies to deal with the pandemic and its impact on economic aspect, social and people's well-being.
Manakala peratus kes sembuh COVID-19 di negara kita adalah tinggi dan majoriti kes baru pula adalah tergolong dalam kategori 1 dan 2. Malahan, negara kita adalah antara negara dengan kadar vaksinasi terpantas di dunia. Pencapaian tersebut sudah pasti merupakan hasil daripada kejayaan program imunisasi COVID-19 kebangsaan dan program imunisasi industri COVID-19 kerjasama awam swasta.
Meanwhile, on a separate development, the King has called upon the government to accelerate the nation's economic recovery by drafting business and investment-friendly policies to boost the nation's competitivity. He said the right amount of expenditure should also be provided to fund public health measures, provide assistance to the affected group, as well as support to boost business activities in line with the reopening of the economy.
Al-Sultan Abdullah said to enable additional expenditure for these purposes, the government will table a proposal in the Dewan Rakyat to raise the spending ceiling of the COVID-19 fund as well as the statutory limit of the government debt.
Peningkatan daya saing negara juga perlu difokuskan terhadap usaha menambah baik ekosistem serta persekitaran perniagaan bagi meneroka penciptaan kekayaan baru dan menambah nilai terutamanya oleh perusahaan mikro, kecil dan sederhana.
Additionally, the MSMEs should also be encouraged to manage their business digitally to ensure a wider market access, adding that the economic growth sectors should also be identified so that Malaysia will not be left behind in the global arena.
Sektor-sektor tersebut sangat berpotensi untuk penciptaan sumber kekayaan baru negara. Di samping berupaya menjamin sekuriti dan nutrisi makanan negara.
The government will be tabling the 12th Malaysian Plan for the period of 2021 to 2025 and will introduce a number of policy reforms and structural transformations to place the country's development on a stronger foundation. To date, the government has implemented various economic stimulus and recovery packages worth a total of 530 billion ringgit for the people's benefit.
Now, Unimas Institute of Health and Community Medicine, or IHCM, has confirmed yet again that the Delta variant is still the most dominant variant in Sarawak. According to Institute's director, Professor Dr. David Pereira, as of 31st August, 303 out of 307 positive infections were of the Delta variant. Most areas in Sarawak surpassed the 90% mark of detection rates. IHCM will continue to work hand in hand with the Sarawak Disaster Management Committee SDMC in tracking circulating variants in the state.
if he defeated the rebels, he would be given the international political sovereignty of this region.
I think SARAWAK was most important because it was such a symbolic event. The hauling of the cannon was epic in its nature.
Taliban are furious with the Brooks because the divide and rule is started by the Brooks actually.
Follow us on Sarawak's journey to gaining independence as a state of Malaysia in this two-part documentary.
But to no avail.
Starting from the chronicles of the White Raja monarchy who founded the Kingdom of Sarawak in 1841 to wartime Sarawak in 1941 to becoming an entity of Malaysia in 1963.
In favor of it.
There was a general consensus that we really have to be independent.
Don't forget to watch Road to Nationhood, Sarawak Reclaimed, Part 1 and 2, Thursday, 16 September, 4 p.m. on TVS Channel 122 Astro and MyTV.
打个电话是我爸爸妈妈创立的，1986年创立，第一间是在展览沙岛。
那个是第一间，到现在还有。第一天开店的时候才做67块7啊。
从我接手以来，我们就有一个想法，我们想要把不一样的带出来给大家。
10年前跟10年后的打钢不一样啊。
我刚刚进来的时候，大概还是一个比较传统的蛋糕店哦，跟现在相比有吗？现在已经转型了，非常的多。
Kami tinggal di pendapatan asal lah, di sebelah atas Banjaran Bungo.
Pamerkan budaya orang asli di Borneo ini.
Saksikan Travel Around dengan kami setiap Sabtu jam 5.15 petang hanya di TVS, saluran 122 Astro dan MyTV.
Hello there and welcome back. Now moving on, as the climate changes, snakes are on the move. As such, the human-driven climate change, including rising temperatures and an increase in severe events like drought, floods and wildfires, are making snakes' traditional territories unlivable. Snakes are left with minimal options: migrate, adapt or die. SARAWAK Fire and Rescue Department Chief Mahmudin Naruddin said a significant increase occurred during hot weather when the fire department received on an average 3 to 4 cases a day involving the reptile from January to August this year.
The majority of the snake species that were caught were said to be python, golden ring, cobra, racer snake, oriental whip, and the king cobra. As a preparation, Naruddin said his team regularly performed training in regards to the danger and risk of catching the reptile. In addition, he said the knowledge of early treatment was also mastered to improve the efficiency and skills of the members when carrying out operations. In connection to that, he urged members of the public to be extra vigilant and not to take matters into their own hands if they ever come face to face with the reptile, as it could threaten their safety. Instead, they should immediately contact the Bomba or other relevant agencies to deal with the matter professionally.
Now, the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs (KPD) and HEP is taking a new approach to deal with the problem in regards to the increasing price of goods, especially the price of chicken in the market. Its Minister, Datuk Sri Alexander Nantalingi, said the approach allows traders to check the purchase cost to get a more reasonable margin.
He explained that it aims to enable traders to check the price of goods and purchase costs to ensure a reasonable profit margin, as well as to warn chicken traders not to increase prices at any range of distribution. He added the matter is taken seriously by the ministry, especially when it involves the increase in the price of goods for basic consumer needs. Commenting further, he said it has a continuous impact on the cost of living of the people, especially during the pandemic. In addition, KPD and HEP does not intend to introduce additional price control other than those that have been implemented under the Festive Season Maximum Price Control Scheme (SHMMP). However, the ministry will not hesitate to implement price controls if prices continue to increase beyond a reasonable level.
And that concludes the 5 p.m. English news on TVS. I'll see you again for Nightline at 11:30 p.m. With that, I'm Hendy Gui. Stay safe and have a pleasant day.